Hello and welcome to Glasgow Rangers Nation with me, your host Owen, the channel that brings you your team every single day. There you are, guys. Great to have you on board this morning, this afternoon, or this evening, whenever you are picking up this video. Let me know in the comments below any content you want us to cover, anything you want us to look into, any questions you've got. Always willing to obviously listen to our fans. At the end of the day, this channel is by the fans for the fans. Victoria and myself are huge Rangers fans. And obviously, we understand that you guys are all massive Rangers fans, apart from those obsessed Celtic fans that come in here to watch Rangers content, which I do not understand in the slightest. Anyway, we're going to talk a little bit about what Craig Moore has had to say about Rangers and where Rangers are at this moment in time. We could talk about a departure from the club. A player has left. That was announced yesterday. We're also going to talk about Michael Beale's rebuilding job that he is doing, and obviously the release of the third kit, which is out tomorrow. Well, today, not tomorrow, today, because I'm recording this the night before. Yeah, it's the new kit that is out, obviously, and it is a real. I like it. It's a good one. Anyway, we've got, like I said, an awful lot to talk about. I mean, let's talk first of all about a potential departure from Rangers, or not potential, an actual departure from Rangers, which was announced yesterday. That is the departure of Lewis Mayo. Now, despite the fact, obviously, that Mayo played some part in the game against Halisher FC, Mayo has been allowed to leave the club. Now, where is he headed off to? Where is Lewis Mayo going to? Well, for those of you who have read the press, for those of you who have looked into it, he is headed off to Kilmarnock. Now, he was on loan at Kilmarnock last season, and that has now been made a permanent move. He has joined Kilmarnock, and that is done and dusted. He is there on a permanent basis now. It's a 3-year contract for Lewis Mayo. He impressed enough on his season-long loan there for Kilmarnock to want to make it a permanent move. Every comment from Rangers was that everyone at the club thanks Lewis for his commitment and contribution while at Rangers, and we wish him well for his future career. I think it's probably a sign that Lewis was never really going to make the first team on a regular basis at Ibrox, and this is probably the best move for his career to go somewhere where he is going to get first team football, which is a Rugby Park Kilmarnock. Now, obviously interesting as Rangers meet Kilmarnock in the first SPL game of the season. A chance for Lewis Mayo to come up against his former teammate, which will obviously be an interesting one. And obviously a number of new teammates as well that he went have got the experience of playing against, the likes obviously of Searle and hopefully Danilo, Panzo and Cifuentes also. Now, I don't regret Mayo leaving. I think obviously this is the right move. It frees up some more wages. And like I said, if he was never going to get a game, it's time to move him on. We don't want to be standing in the way of youth players, of young players and their development and of them, actually getting an opportunity to actually play. So it's good news for Lewis Mayo. And I think it's good news for the club as well. Frees up some wages, frees up another place on the squad. At the end of the day, we did need to trim that squad down. It was a rather large squad, wasn't it? So good luck to Lewis Mayo. Thank you for all your hard work for the club, and we wish you all the very best. Now, this man, Rangers legend Craig Moore, someone who's obviously been linked with our sporting director role, and obviously no more on that at this moment in time. There's obviously no more rumours or potential appointments on the horizon as regards the sporting director role. It all seems to have gone very quiet as Rangers obviously concentrate on building a team for the new season, and that's been very much, I think, the intention of the club. Now, it is Craig Moore has been talking about how he sees that Rangers are, in his words, better than this stage last year. And he said Celtic are worse off, in his opinion. Now, he talks about the fact that Rangers have really strengthened the team over this summer period. They've gone out and obviously they've put an awful lot of effort into bringing in players and signing players to really strengthen this lineup. A number of players, obviously 7 players, have already arrived with the potential of another 2 or 3. Could even take the arrivals up to 10 this offseason. A massive offseason for the club. In terms of being able to bring in players, 10 players is an awful lot of players to bring in. And Craig Moore has been impressed with the business done by the club and the business done by Michael Beale. Obviously the players that Beale's brought in, the players that stand out. Dujon Sterling, who spoke to the media the other day, was exceptionally impressive. Adding to that as well, you've got there Cyril Dessers and Sam Lammers, who were brought in to lead the attack. Abdallah Seema, Kieran Dowell, who both played the other night. Kieran Dowell, in particular, impressing. And Tom Lawrence returning to action. Now, Tom Lawrence obviously was not signed this summer, but he's like a new signing, isn't he? In terms of the fact that he is just on his way back. Now, Craig Moore did actually praise the work that his compatriot Ange Postecoglou did. I suppose, look, I know Craig Moore's a Rangers legend. I know he's an ex-Rangers captain. I know I get all that. But look, at the end of the day, Postecoglou is a compatriot of his. Australians tend to stick together, so that's why he did it. He talked obviously about the fact that Postecoglou built a good squad at Celtic, and fair enough, that's true. The guy won treble, double, so fair enough. But he reckons, Craig Moore reckons that the departures of Aaron Moy and Jota have really affected their squad strength. Also, the fact that Alistair Johnson is slated to miss the start of the season, and Cameron Carter-Vickers is recovering from knee surgery. So, it's very much a case that Celtic are, in Craig Moore's words, worse off than they were last season, which is good for Rangers. He says he contrasts that with Rangers with 7 new players. Craig Moore said that Rangers, that they've, e.g. Rangers, have got a stronger squad and will be able to show signs of improvement. Celtic, in terms of the squad they had to finish off last season compared to how they sit now, is just clearly weaker. There's no Jota, there's no Moy, potentially no Riley. It's another one who's been mentioned a lot about moving on. The injury situation is probably giving Celtic and Brendan Rodgers a bit more of a headache, even more so. I think he's obviously very impressed with what we've brought in so far, very impressed with what the club are doing. So, clear signs that, a lot of ex-Rangers players and Rangers and pundits and insiders all think we are moving in the right direction. Look, I've got to agree with them. You look at the signings we've made, the players we've brought in, this club is moving in a very exciting direction. There is a clear mission there. You've got in the likes of Dessers, in the likes of Lammers, in the likes of Seema and Dowell, players who can take the game to the opposition, players who can really go at the opposition, which is something, that we desperately need to do. So for me, this is a great pickup, by Rangers. All these pickups have been fantastic. So, this club is moving in the right direction. I think 56 is a genuine possibility, and something that I do think that we should definitely be thinking about going into next season. The work that this man has done this offseason has been quite remarkable. Obviously, I know the scouts have all played their part, but with no sporting director, Michael Beale has taken the lead on player acquisition, and I think he's done a fantastic job. So well done to Michael Beale, and obviously our scouting department too. But the summer isn't over yet. There could be yet more arrivals. And we are going to get to the third kit, so hang on for that. Apparently, according to a number of reports in media this morning, Rangers are holding talks with Jonathan Panzo and Nottingham Forest, a deal to bring the centre back to Glasgow. However, according to the media, even looking at where they were before the club stripped of Germany to now, there is no real chance of a conclusion anytime soon. Football Scotland claim the 22-year-old remains a target of the Ibrox club, even though they have signed Leon Balogun. And I think, as we all know, Balogun was just brought in as cover for Leon King, although Leon King's injury doesn't now appear as serious as it was once feared. Jonathan Panzo is the leading defensive target for Rangers, and Forest are demanding around £2.5 million for the player. So, it's still all up in the air. There is nothing yet confirmed, nothing yet pulled through, nothing yet definite for this player. So, at the end of the day, I suppose we've just got to hang on and wait and see when it comes to Panzo. But look, for me, there is just a lot going on. You know, the Danilo deal, which we brought the video out yesterday on that. You know, we came back in with that £6 million bid with add-ons. Apparently, there are add-ons in that bid. Too. News as well that Danilo has demanded a move away from Feyenoord now. Apparently, he is trying his best to push through a move to Ibrox, according to reports in the media this morning. So it does seem that Danilo wants to come. And look, at the end of the day, what we need, guys, is we need players that want to be here. Excuse me. Players that want to fight for the jersey. Players that want to be Rangers players. That's what we need here. We don't want players that are going to come here and be wage thieves and just, only coming here for the money. We need players who want to play for the shirt. And that is absolutely fundamental. And it does look like Danilo is one of those players that does want to play for the club. He wants to come and fight for this club. He's trying to push through the deal from his end. He's spoken to his manager apparently, and he's trying to get the deal with Rangers done. So good news there on that one. Obviously, the Cifuentes saga is still lingering on, is still winding its way on, and still no new development on that. Rangers obviously are releasing their third kit, or have released their third kit, depending on when you have picked up this video. But that is what they think the third kit is going to be, or it is what the third kit is going to be. Again, depending on when you're picking up this video. Personally, I like it. I like the orange and the blue. I think it looks pretty good. Orange and navy. I like the orange third kit last season. I've actually got that myself. I love Rangers in orange. I think it's a sort of a tribute to our Dutch, the Dutch ex-players and William of Orange. And I do like all of that heritage there. So I like that kit. It is a nice kit, isn't it? Well, guys, obviously a bit of a thinner broadcast this morning. We obviously are building up towards the Hamburg game on Saturday. There'll be a bit more in the video on Saturday morning on the Hamburg game. So look out for that video dropping Saturday morning. Also, we've got a podcast coming up Monday, the 24th at 8:15, I think it is, with Grant from Heart and Hand. So come and join us for that. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to Glasgow Rangers Nation this morning, or this afternoon, or this evening, depending on when you've picked up this video. Please hit that sub. Help us to get close to that 3K mark that we want to be at by the end of July. And if you can give the video a like as well, that's the first thing I always need you to do. The second thing, obviously, I need you to do is remember always, we are the people.